7 ingredients necessary to build or strengthen your relationship. What exactly is true and enduring love? Many people have enduring love for chocolate. They have loved it for a long time and will continue to love it. The word enduring means long-lasting. Relationships are often construed as easy. You fall in love and all is blissful. After all, that's the way it happens in the movies. Let's look at reality for a minute. Long-lasting relationships are built on enduring love, which is itself based on a healthy foundation. Couples can plan ahead and build a foundation. Couples who find that their relationship seems to be lacking the things that they desire can take restorative steps to strengthen their foundation. I will be discussing 7 ingredients necessary to build or restore your relationship foundation. First, we're going to talk about compatibility. One major component of a successful relationship is that you are compatible with your partner. You may have heard that opposites attract, and that is largely true in science class when you're discussing magnets. However, it may also sometimes be true in relationships, which is how the phrase became so popular. So take note that the phrase says that opposites attract. It does not say that they last. Often, opposites attract because they find the discord and the drama between them very interesting. But most relationships cannot sustain that, and trying to do so can lead to unhealthy outcomes for both parties. In truth, most successful relationships are built on compatibility between the two people, which is not to say that the two partners must be completely alike and agree on absolutely everything. Rather, the two people may have some differences. Those differences should be complementary and in areas that do not affect the major life decisions. An example of that would be compatibility in plans for the future or major ideas would be ideal. Next, we're going to talk about communication. Beyond being compatible, couples need to communicate. This includes communication in all spectrums, from daily discussions and learning about each other. And yes, even having healthy disagreements. We do not have to agree with everything. Along with good communication, each party should feel comfortable being able to say how they feel, as well as what is on their mind, and be heard. There are times when couples need to work earnestly in order to have good communication skills. It doesn't always come real naturally. One key skill is active listening. It involves hearing what your partner is saying. It means listening, to listen, not just to think of a response and wait for your turn to say what you want to say. Active listening also involves reflecting or paraphrasing what you hear and asking questions about things you do not understand. If you are not truly listening, you will not have the capacity to paraphrase or ask questions. When being the talker and not the listener, good communication skills sometimes require getting your emotions in check. This is so you do not say things you might regret. We've all done that. You may even need to pause, think things over, and then express yourself when you can do so in ways that will not be harmful or hurtful to the other person or the relationship. This can prevent unproductive arguments. And at the same time, sometimes couples do need to communicate to work through a disagreement. If a couple never disagrees and never argues, it could mean that they are avoiding difficult conversations. Some confrontation of difficult matters is necessary, also to make a relationship healthy enough to last. When disagreements do occur, just use good communication skills to sort things productively. Simultaneously, communication does not just occur through words. There are many ways to give and receive love besides just words. Figure out how you typically communicate your love. Is it through giving gifts, spending quality time together, or maybe something else? Also figure out how your partner communicates their love. If you use different ways to communicate, you might miss the signals. So it's good to know. However, by talking about it, you can be sure to communicate love in ways that you will both recognize. I personally recommend the book, The 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. It can help you both in determining each other's love language and solve issues before they even come up. So the next thing we're going to talk about is honesty. It is likely that you have heard the old phrase, which says, honesty is the best policy. Indeed, that is generally the case in a healthy relationship. That is true from the very start. In the beginning, many may be tempted to be misleading about who they are and what their future may look like. However, being dishonest will not lead to an enduring love or a relationship that lasts. As you build your relationship, you need to be honest with your partner about your past, as well as your present, and what you want in the future. Making up lies will only undermine the relationship. They will fester and erode at an already poor foundation to the relationship. Now, this is not to say that you must be brutally honest. There may be times where you tell a small little fib, like, yes, that dinner was just so amazing, so as not to hurt your partner's feelings. However, you should certainly weigh out whether the lie is necessary and not selfish. Compromise will be the next thing. You may have heard you can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you might find you get what you need. This is true when it pertains to compromise in relationships. The reality is that even if a couple is very compatible with similar mutual goals, there will still be times where each person wants something different. In those instances, the only solution is an old-fashioned compromise. Now, compromise is not as simple as this time one partner gets their way and the next time the other partner does. No. Nor does it always mean meeting in the middle, because sometimes there is no easily found a middle ground solution. There's no way to find that middle ground solution. Real compromise is about talking things over and finding the best solution in each specific situation. And sometimes one person may have to give more, or sometimes the other person will. Make the focus finding the best outcome each time so that you do not feel tempted to, what they call keep score. Next, we're going to talk about understand. Being in a relationship also requires a high degree of understanding for one another. You're not always going to be on the same page as your partner. They are going to do things that seem foreign to you. Oh yes, maybe even downright annoying. Remember that up until the two of you met, You were each living your own life with your own families and unique environmental settings. As such, you each learned certain ways of being and doing. It can be very tempting in a relationship to be judgmental when your partner approaches something in a vastly different way from you, the way that you do. Instead of getting judgmental, which would be detrimental to the relationship, seek understanding. Ask questions to learn about why they do what they do in the way that they do it. And you will learn more about your partner, maybe even yourself. This will strengthen the relationship and contribute to the likelihood that it stands the test of time. So now we'll talk about patience. Patience may be a virtue, and it is also an important ingredient in a lasting relationship. Just as you need to avoid judgment and practice understanding, sometimes you will also need to be patient with your partner and patient in the relationship. Your partner may approach life differently. They may communicate differently, and they may sometimes move through life at their own pace. If you push them and rush them, it will harm the relationship. Instead, practice patience. And lastly, we're going to talk about forgive or forgiveness. Enduring relationships require a willingness to practice forgiveness. Everyone will mess up from time to time. Your partner may forget that dinner date. They may neglect to pick up milk from the store. Holding grudges will only chip away at the relationship. Forgive the small stuff and let it go. For the bigger stuff, such as a breach of trust or infidelity, you may still need to work toward forgiveness to maintain the relationship. In those cases, you may need outside help to make that fully happen. I am Wendy Johnson at wendyjohnsonslifecoaching.com and St. Paul's Free University. Thank you.